Good afternoon. It is Friday, May 22nd, and welcome back to the Pulse at Home. I'm Annabelle Watson.
And I'm Liv McHugh, wishing everyone a happy Memorial Day weekend.
This week on the Pulse, Daisy Gonzalez explores the history of the Vernon Manchester rails to trails, and Ben Roy gives an update on a Memorial Day weekend staple, Major League Baseball.
We have all that and much more on this week's program. Stay tuned because you're watching
The Pulse. The Vernon Manchester Rails to Trails has been packed the past couple of months, with people looking for a way to stay active. Daisy Gonzalez sheds some light on the history of the trails and also its impact during the coronavirus outbreak.
Rails to Trails is open to everyone. It is a place where people seem to be finding peace in such a crazy time. You can walk, ride, run, and explore their history right in your hometown by these trails. The 20-mile trail is called Hop River Linear Trail State Park. It starts in Manchester and goes through Vernon, Bolton, Coventry, Andover, Columbia, and Willimantic. And it tells you a story how these trails came to be. Brandy Horton is part of the Rails to Trails Conservancy and is Vice President of the Communications Department.
In 1986, when Rails to Trails Conservancy began, there were only a few hundred miles of rail trail all across the country, and most of those had been really created through the hard work of volunteers and local citizen activists who had seen those corridors in their neighborhoods and in their communities that were abandoned, and they wanted to turn those into something that would bring value to the community.
Not only are these trails good for exercise, they also provide off-the-road transportation, and this is just one of many uses.
It's a place that you can recreate or be active, or you live in a more urban area, and it is the access to the outdoors that you have in your community. People really, when they connect with a trail, they take in the value that it brings, and there's so much value. There's the transportation aspect. A lot of people walk and bike to work in our country, and this gives them a safe way to do so, where they're separated from vehicle traffic. There's an enormous financial benefit. A lot of trails deliver, the planning, design, and construction of trails deliver jobs, and then also a lot of trail-oriented development happen.
Although Rails to Trails impacted the economy well, between travel and trade, there was also hardships that came along with this success.
About 150 years ago, in the mid-1800s, it really was a game changer for how people got around the country. But it didn't come without a lot of costs in terms of labor rights. There were a lot of people who worked on the railroad and were not treated well. A lot of land that was taken and acquired to build the railroad in a way that was not respectful to the people who lived there or the cultures that it intersected. And then as the railroads were built, they really designed the planning of cities and towns around the railroad was often in a way that was very discriminatory, keeping certain populations of people on one side and certain populations of people on the other side of the railroad, and really using those corridors as ways to separate different folks in the community. So as the railroad, as we've been able to capture the opportunity to create trails via these corridors, being able to pay respect to that heritage, both the good parts around how it has built kind of the fabric and the legacy for America, but then also the challenging parts where racism and discrimination were inherent in how the railroad was built. And it's important that we honor that history and hold up that history so that it's not repeated.
We know this time can be difficult, but please do your part and stay safe. From Rails to Trails and Manchester, this has been Daisy Gonzalez reporting.
I'm sure there will be plenty of people taking advantage of the trails this Memorial Day weekend.
As some sports such as soccer and NASCAR come back, many baseball fans are left wondering when the summer staple will be played again. Ben Roy updates us on the current state of America's pastime.
The sounds of baseball, truly missed by each MLB fan. Every year, thousands of fans fill the stands at baseball stadiums across the country. However, this year is much different. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, not only the MLB, but all major sports leagues in the United States have suspended operations indefinitely. One MLB fan expresses his feelings on the shutdown.
I think there's a lot of people like me that in the summertime, baseball is, other than I watch major tennis matches and things like that, but by and large, my summertime TV entertainment, I look forward to watching Yankee games, Red Sox games, and things like that. And as a fan, I'm not able to do that now.
Although, fans should hold out hope. MLB Commissioner Robert Manfred says he fully expects baseball to return in 2020.
Also, President Trump wants sports arenas filled with fans this summer.
We're going to be able to occupy those seats in arenas next to each other, like we have for all of my life and all of your life. They want to sit next to each other.
Therefore, baseball fans, your ears will be filled with great news soon. From the Pulse, this is Ben Roy reporting.
Hopefully, baseball will be back at some point in the summer.
If we want baseball back, we must slow the spread of the coronavirus. Mikey Borden explains how and why we must take the proper precautions.
Much to our dismay, Corona is here to stay. With COVID-19 still on the rise, it's critically important for us to stay safe to limit the spread of this virus.
When you social distance from everyone, then it means you're safe and it means that they're safe from you if you accidentally caught it, because it takes 2 weeks for you to show any symptoms. And also, even if you catch it, you might be asymptomatic, which means you might be passing it on to people.
You can help everyone around you by doing some simple things, like washing your hands. Washing your hands for 20 seconds with soap and water is one of the key ways to keep everyone safe from COVID-19. Social distancing is also a really big part of staying safe. 6 feet apart is the current length, but the further the better. If you do venture out into the world, make sure to cover your mouth and nose with at least 3 layers. This could be in the form of a medical mask, homemade mask, or even a 3-layered bandana. Also make sure to not touch your face with unwashed hands. Remember, we are all in this together. Stay safe out there.
Another important thing to keep in mind is the U.S. Census, even in these crazy times. Here's why.
Out of all the people in America, you matter for the 2020 U.S. Census. It is important for Manchester to be properly represented in the census in order to have accurate representation in Congress, receive adequate funding for government programs. All Manchester residents participating in the census allows us to be best supported, and census data cannot be used against you. So what are you waiting for? Head to 2020census.gov now.
Restaurants have been greatly impacted by COVID-19. Lena Muraski examines how restaurants have coped during this tough time.
Tasso's excellent adventure, located at 550 Middle Turnpike East, is just one of many local restaurants that have had to adjust their way of business during this COVID-19 pandemic.
On March 17th, Governor Ned Lamont issued an executive order that required all restaurants to go to curbside pickup or takeaway only. Many full-service restaurants struggled to alter their business models. Luckily, Tasso's already did a substantial amount of takeout business, but owner Tom Strano still needed to make some major adjustments.
The hardest part of it was laying off my employees. We have employees ranging from 16 years old to, well, I can't say their ages, but definitely older than that, and it was really tough to have to lay everybody off. We had no one, and it was something that I wasn't prepared to do, and definitely wasn't prepared to handle it from an emotional standpoint.
One of his most successful changes has been the addition of the grab-and-go grinder.
We used to have a grab-and-go grinder on Spruce Street that everybody was just nuts for, and when they decided to go out of business, it had been lost. So during this time, we decided, hey, maybe we can bring up something familiar for the town during this time when everything's just chaotic.
Tasso's offers a choice of ham or Genoa, the soft grinder roll, drizzle of olive oil, homemade roasted peppers, and provolone cheese make it a delicious lunch. As for Ryan's Deli, this is considered by many to be a must-stop destination on Connecticut's culinary tour. Located at 435 Hartford Turnpike in Vernon, Ryan's has been in operation for 48 years.
Has COVID-19 affected this iconic restaurant? Let's head inside and find out.
Before the pandemic, this lobby would be crowded with customers waiting to get in, but with social distancing, that has all changed.
We want to serve safe food. We want our employees to be safe and our customers to be safe. So what we did was we actually put plexiglass up and actually put tables in front of the register so to really create a 6-foot barrier from our employees to customers.
Keeping everyone educated about staying clean is a main way to eliminate the virus.
We've always, but now more than ever, we push hand washing, glove changing, mask wearing, and if an employee feels sick at all, they're to call us immediately and then we take them off until further notice.
Sanitary precautions haven't slowed these workers down as they prepare customers' favorite foods to go.
They're the most important asset to our business because they're the ones that bring our revenue in.
To continue to support your favorite restaurant, you can order takeout, buy a gift card, or promote them on social media. From Manchester, this has been Lena Muraski reporting.
Well, that's what we have for you this week, Manchester. Tune into our program next week as Sam Mashinsky addresses the current state of graduation.
If you have any story ideas we might have missed, make sure to email Mr. Larson at b11elars@mpspride.org.
And don't forget to follow us on social media and check out our past work by heading to mhstelevision.com.
I'm Annabelle Watson.
And I'm Liv McHugh, and this has been
The Pulse.
Pulse.